Here we are getting very close to UFC 209. And all right, perfect. We've got a number one contender waiting in the wings. And then we find out that he's fighting Jorge Masvidal, UFC 211, in 2 months. So, of course, had to talk to him. He joins us now on the phone once again. Very much appreciative that he's back on the show. We're talking to Demian Maia right now. Demian, how are you?
How you doing, Ariel?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I have to admit, I did not expect to talk to you about this whole situation. I thought that it was, pretty clear for you that you were going to get the winner. We'll get to that discussion in a second, but I'm just curious as we wrap up our talk on the main event. Did you watch the main event on Saturday? And if so, who did you score it for?
Yeah, I think, Wonderboy was winning and 3-1. And, he was supposed to keep going the last round and then he would win the fight. But, the referees they gave, it was 2-2. And, that last seconds of the fight, made all different.
Okay, so you still, if you had it 3-1 going into the fifth, regardless of what happened in the fifth, you would have scored it for Wonderboy, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Were you watching it live?
Yeah, I did.
Was it hard for you to watch this fight because of the fact that you thought you were going to fight the winner and now you have to go through someone else? Were you kind of, was it, while watching, was it a bit of a, I don't know, was there a sour taste in your mouth because of how close this whole situation is to you?
Yeah, it is. But you know what? I just need to focus on my fight right now, like always. Sometimes it's better, to keep your mind healthy, that you just don't focus too much on, a title fight. You just focus on the next fight, and that's what I'm trying to do. Because every time I was doing different before, I was losing my ability to fight well. I was not fighting so well when I was focused too much on the title. And the last 6 fights, I was really focused on which fight, and that was working for me. I will keep doing the same.
Okay, so let's talk about how we get to the Masvidal fight. When were you first approached about the idea of fighting him?
It was, I think, right after he won the fight against Cowboy.
Okay.
They asked me, and I said, I would like to wait. But then 10 days before this title fight between Woodley and Wonderboy, they spoke to Eduardo again, and they said, in order to fight for the title one day, I need to keep active, and I need to take the fight, and so I took the fight.
When they approached you after he won in January and you said, no, I'd like to wait, were they okay with that back then?
Yeah, they didn't answer back,
Okay.
Right away, and they were okay. And I thought, like, as time was passing, I said, okay, I decided to waiting, and that's okay. And the fight is less than 2 weeks ahead, and I'm just gonna wait, and I'm gonna fight with the champion, because there's nobody ahead of me that could fight for this. There's the only guy ahead of me in the rankings where is Robbie Lawler, but he lost to Tyron, and he's been inactive for a long time. So I thought I was the clear contender.
Yeah.
But then they approach us, and we need to take the fight.
Okay, so then when they come back to you around 10 days out and they approach you with this idea, did you guys tell them, like, look, we're so close to the title fight, here I am, number one contender, this creates more confusion? Did you try to make the case to not have to do the fight because you've waited for so long and because of the fact that you are the clear number one contender?
Yeah, we did that many times. We did, before when they offered Lawler to me early this year, and then when they offered Masvidal, But this time they spoke to Eduardo and they said, in order to get a title fight, we need to keep active. So, there was I need to fight. That's it. If I want to fight for the title, I need to fight. So, I'm a fighter and I'm going to fight.
Does a part of you wish you would have fought back in, January or December so that you'd be in a position, if they're saying you have to fight, you've been waiting for so long for the title shot, you don't get the title shot, you could have fought earlier.
Yeah, it's tough to have any regrets or think about that. It's just life, it's just it is what it is, and there is nothing we can do. I think it's a good timing, to fight in May is no problem. And of course, I wish I was fighting for the title. But if I have to fight this fight, maybe it's a good timing. I cannot thinking about if I win when I'm gonna fight for the title. I just need to think about this one. Like I said, right now, Jorge Masvidal is a pretty tough fight. It's a pretty tough challenge, and I have one more challenge in front of me.
Can you explain what happened with the Nashville card? Because originally there was some talk that you were going to main event that card. Now you're on UFC 211. Was the Nashville option offered first and then they changed it?
Yeah, that was the first date that they offer. But then I don't know why they changed. And for us it was okay because we have a little bit more time for a camp. I was training, but it's different than a camp, and that's no problem. That's no problem that they changed the date. I don't know. It's something to do with which card they need more names to fill, and I think the 211 were more important for them.
Would you have preferred being main event, or it doesn't really matter at this point?
It doesn't matter. The good thing about being main event is that I was talking to Eduardo about that. The good thing about being main event is that you train for a title fight because you train for 5 rounds. But at the same time, if you go there and fight, and the fight is like, my fight with Condit, it doesn't matter because it's just 1 round fight.
Right.
So I hope the fight doesn't go, all the rounds, and I hope I win before. And I'm gonna train for 3 rounds, and the most important is, it's like I said, doesn't matter if I fight right now, if I stop and think about it, doesn't matter if it's 5 rounds or 3 rounds, because in order to fight for the title, I need to win this one. So I cannot think ahead, I just need to think to win this fight, and not thinking of this fight like training for the title fight.
Right.
Because I'm fighting a guy who just knocked out Cowboy Cerrone, and he's really, really good and really, really tough opponent with a great boxing skills, and it's not easy to fight a guy like that. So I have a challenge right now that I need to pass before.
Did the UFC tell you or your team that if you win this fight, you will 100% get a title shot?
It's not. They didn't say 100%. I think it's kind of clear, and I don't know who else they could put for that. And I didn't ask for that. I think it's clear for everybody. But then if I win, I will be the challenge. But I think they never gonna come and say, okay, if you win, is 100%, you're gonna fight for the title. And I don't care. I just care about this fight right now.
Do you think the UFC doesn't want you to be champion or even to fight for a belt again?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think there's nothing to do with that. But at the same time, sometimes it's a little bit weird, why they are holding me too much the last fights, because I remember when I fight Gunnar and I was watching the fight between Lawler and Condit. I was there in the watching inside, and they are filming me, and I think I was going to be next one. And everybody was talking about that, and then they said no. They put me against Matt Brown, and then after Matt Brown fight, okay, we'll be next one. And they, no. And then, Condit, and I won in a very good way, and no again. So I don't know. Sometimes it's, all this change in the company lately is hard to read. It's hard to understand.
Has this situation kind of affected the way you view the sport and your career? Has it? I mean, it's amazing just listening to you speak. I feel like I wouldn't be able to handle it with such class and professionalism, but you are able to put this positive spin on a very unfortunate situation. Everyone agrees that you should be fighting for the belt next, and now not only do you have to fight again, you have to fight someone who's very, very talented, and yet here you are, with some kind of silver lining. When this all happened, though, were you down? Did you need to motivate yourself again? How did you react?
Remember what I said? I said when I started to focus on the title, 6 fights ago, I stopped to fight. I stopped to worry about just the title fight. My performance got better. And after my fight with Yakovlev, I had that shoulder infection, the staph infection in my shoulder, all the osteomyelitis stuff. And after that, I realized that my mission is much more than be a champion. It's, to spread Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and to teach and to do things that are much more important in my life than to win the title. So, and after that, it's funny that I start to win and I never, lost any fight anymore. And, I was fighting with much more experience. I was fighting less anxious. So that's what makes me keep going, because I know my mission is not just to be a champion. And be a champion would be great, and I want to be like that, but it's not just in my control. I think I could be champion right now. Depends, but it's not in my control because I need to be chosen to be there in a title fight. And I need to win the title fight, and that's in my control, of course. But, it's not in my control to have the opportunity to fight for the title. So, as a sport, an athlete, of course you get a little bit frustrated, but, I have things much bigger to accomplish in life that I am accomplishing, and I'm happy for that, and I keep going.
Do you feel like you have to finish Masvidal in order to really force their hand and make them give you the title shot? Is a decision not enough?
No, I don't think so. I think, it's just go there and win the fight. And I think everybody says about this guy sells fight, the other guy doesn't sell fight. But the reality is, like, in the welterweight, nobody sells fights well. And sometimes, people push on my shoulders the things, but, in my last fight, I submit, a lot of fights, and I had great performance, and people want to watch my fights. And I'm not saying, bad about the last fight, but everybody knew that didn't sell well, was not so exciting, and so it's not just my problem. It's, it's all together. Like UFC needs to promote a little bit more, and welterweight is a weight that is hard to sell nowadays, and that's it. I think it's sometimes people believe in lies, and they repeat the lies so many times that the people start to believe Demian is not fighting for the title because he doesn't sell. And I think that's not true. I don't think I wouldn't sell worse than Wonderboy and Thompson did.
Yeah, and I think
I could sell better.
And to that point, I feel like there has to be a little creativity involved. I threw out this idea last week, and this was just off the top of my head. Here we have, the second coming of Royce Gracie. You're going out there and choking the best fighters in the world and not getting any damage. No one is touching you. It's like not even a scratch. How do you not sell that? That to me is fascinating.
Exactly. It's like you know, market, is everything. You know that, and I shouldn't say that, but when I watched last fight between Woodley and Thompson, and I want to make clear that I really like both guys. I really admire both guys, but for me, the fighting, besides the fourth round, the fight was really boring. At 205, because it was like nobody pulls, the trigger. Nobody pulls the trigger all the first three rounds, and then the fourth round there was this, scramble and was really exciting, and then the 50th round was so again. But in order to make the second fight, UFC gave them fight of the night, because after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, nobody remembers well, and then the people say, okay, it was a nice fight, was fight of the night. But for me, that was far away from fight of the night. But everybody start to talk about that, and that makes a buzz to the next fight. So it's not so hard when you want to push somebody. You can do.
I know you're saying that you're not going to focus on the belt now, and that helps you, and that's been what you've done leading up to this point as far as this winning streak is concerned. But will you or your management try to get on the record in writing somehow that if you win this fight, you're getting a title shot, or are you not going to try to do that?
Yeah, of course, Eduardo is talking about that and trying to, make the guys doing that. He's the guy who is in charge of that, and he's the guy who is trying, like crazy, all my last fights to put me in a title fight. But it's been hard.
Yeah. So I'm just curious, are you impressed with Masvidal? Masvidal kind of, coming out of nowhere as a welterweight. He's won 3 in a row and, was struggling a little bit with his weight at 155. And now here he is, as you said, knocking out Donald Cerrone is no small feat. A, are you impressed? And B, do you have a theory as to why he has looked so good at 170?
No, I don't have. I'm going to start to watch his fights right now. I didn't watch his fights yet. I know he's a very good boxer. He's like very good, like Cuban style boxing. And that's it. I know he's pretty dangerous with his hands. He has a good takedown defense, which is dangerous also for me. But I'm really gonna start to analyze him right now.
Okay. What kind of support, by the way, have you gotten from fans online after all this has happened? Have you read a lot from them?
A lot, yeah, a lot. I can't read all the comments. Like in my Twitter or Instagram, I can, but Twitter, too many people, and it's so nice to have all this support. I really appreciate the fans. Even I don't respond because sometimes I respond one guy, and the other ones will feel sad because I didn't respond. So that's why sometimes I don't respond. But I try to read everything. 99% of what people talking, it's very nice, and people supporting me and asking me for the title fight and everything. So things can change, and the fans makes the things change, and
Sure.
That's very important.
That is very true. I feel like I've asked you this before, maybe a few years ago, but just to double check now, here we're talking as you're turning 40 later this year in November. Is there an age when you want to stop fighting, or do you not think about that?
I don't think about that really, like, thinking a right date, but I think, I have like about 3 more years.
Okay.
2 or 3 more years that I want to fight.
Okay.
For sure. And then, after, let's see how my speed will be, how my power, and if I keep going, then I can keep fighting. If not, then I stop.
Always appreciate talking to you, Demian. You are unbelievably classy, and you are able. You teach us all, not with not only in your, your athletic endeavors, but just the way you handle yourself, how to put a positive spin on things and how to not harp on the negative. So I appreciate that perhaps more so than what you do in the cage. Your opponent at UFC 211 is actually joining us next, and I believe he wants to say something to you. Are you okay with talking to Jorge Masvidal?
Yeah. I don't have much to talk to him, but I'm happy to take this fight. That's, of course, I would be much happier to fight for the title, but I respect him a lot. And let's go there and do a good show for the public.
Jorge, you want to say something to Demian?
Well, I want to say I respect him for taking the fight. Anybody that gets in there, I gotta respect them. But you shouldn't have took this fight, man. I'll say it now because you signed. You shouldn't have took this fight, man. But thank you, though. I appreciate it. Just like Cowboy, I told him after, thank you for giving me the chance, because I got the call from the UFC, and the UFC used to not like me not too long ago. They didn't like me. But they figured out one thing. They could use me to take out all the guys that they don't like. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm here, baby. I'm going to just do what I do come May 13th and just keep it moving forward, I ain't got much to say because I got 3 kids and I got to check out of here already, man. I've been here a little bit too long,
Okay, fair enough.
All the fans.
Fair enough. Okay, thank you, Demian. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, George, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.